People are asking us to to talk about the election in English, and because I talk in Arabic, because a lot of Arabic-speaking people are or they speak English not well. Some of them they want more explanation. The new migrants don't know what's the details about the elections, how to vote, and we are usually emotionally vulnerable. So if the Greens comes and start to cry and shed some crocodile tears, a lot of us will follow them. So we are talking in different languages so that the new migrants can understand more or better the political system in Australia. Today I will talk about the Northern Territory, and I will talk in details about the Greens and how the Greens was successful. The Greens Party was successful by by their lies, by all their cheap tactics, dirty cheap tactics. They can still deceive people to vote for them and consider them as alternative to the major two parties. I will talk first about the Northern Territory election. Northern Territory election has happened last Saturday after 8 years of total labor control. And the liberals, in the last 8 years, the liberals were collapsed. I mean, they had only, I think, 7 seats only in the last for the last 4 years, and before that they had a little bit more than this, but it is around this. So there was no liberal or the Liberal Party had a lot of trouble in the Northern Territory, and there were a lot of defection and so that the Labour was successful in controlling that area, that territory. Now, last Saturday, we saw the Labour collapsed totally and lost. It had 14 seats, and now they have only 5 seats. And the chief minister there, the leader of the Labour, had lost her seat even. And the Liberals increased their seats from 7 to 16, so they can control, they can form a government comfortably. And some independents. We don't know if the Greens will win one seat or no, but the Greens was not successful in deceiving the people to vote for them, because the Greens are sending a lot of information, a lot of lies now and deception that they will replace the Labour Party. And the last time I heard Adam Bandit said the Labour Party will collapse and we will come and govern the government, when in fact their votes now is around 8% in the territory. And let us put everything into perspective. There is a territory alliance which usually get about 13%. They just collapsed, or they did not run anyone. And this 13%, some of these people who don't trust the Labour, don't trust Liberals, said, let us vote for the Greens. It's not about the Greens are getting a huge amount of Labour votes, and because the Labour lost about 10 to 11% of its popularity, and the Greens gained only 3%. And when we talk about 13% territory alliance disappeared, this is where, because these people are the one who don't trust Labour or Liberals and will think, okay, let us vote for the Greens. The Greens expected that they will grow up to 15% or so, but it is very clear that the voters had no other choice except the Labour and Liberals. This is a territory, so there are not many smaller parties or a lot of independents. There were about two or three independents. There are only 2 or 3 independents, and they won again. But the Greens maybe they will win one because of the territory alliance disappearance only. Why they lost? The Labour lost for two reasons mainly. For two reasons mainly. First, because everyone hate them, and especially on the cost of living crisis. By the way, cost of living crisis and the high inflation caused mainly not only because of lockdown and restrictions and high government debt, which was a policy that was adopted by all three parties. The Labour and the Greens were harsh, and they wanted us to close and lock down for a couple of years more than it was locked down. When the Liberals decided to open up Australia on April 2022, the Greens and Labour accused Liberals of exposing Australians to death, and which was lies. And again, these lockdowns and restrictions are contributed significantly to the cost of living crisis and the inflation. But it was not until the Labour and the Greens pushed for their destructive agendas of attacking our cheap, reliable source of energy and destroying our agriculture by confiscating the fertile lands and turning them into the useless wind farms and other so-called renewable energy sources, which did not increase the slice of energy generated by the so-called renewables. Again, we are not against you or our economy depend more and more on reliable renewable energy sources, but you need first to secure enough energy for the population before you destroy the already existing generators that use gas, for example. By the way, again, and I talk again, the Greens Party started the Greens Party existence and foundation was based on the uselessness of the hydroelectrical energy and the opposition to establish dams on rivers, Franklin River and then other rivers, which generates, by the way, the dams are the major source of renewable energy currently. The biggest slice come from dams and hydroelectrical energy. At that time, the Greens was advocating that coal is the cleanest and more cheap to generate electricity and energy in Australia, and we don't need hydroelectrical energy. Then after that, in the 80s and 90s, the Greens was advocating, okay, the gas is the best. We need to stop the hydroelectrical energy and the coal energy, and we need to adopt the gas. And at that time, they enforced the governments of the day to subsidize the gas. Now, if you turn your car into gas, if you turn your house into gas, you will get subsidies. You do this for free, and now they are waging a holy war on gas. So we don't know where is the renewables here, and you don't know the next stage what will be. But the attack on our cheap, reliable energy and closing down all these generators that generate electricity from coal and gas. This is the major cause of the cost of living crisis. The Greens are very, very, very dirty, or they conduct very dirty politics. They are campaigning on issues and enforcing or convincing the Labour to adopt these policies. And when the labor fails, the Green says, okay, this is labor. The labor caused the crisis, the cost of living crisis. The labor caused the destruction of our economy. The labor caused the high energy prices, when in fact it was the Greens policies from day one. But if the labor does something good, the Greens will come and say, this is our policy, and the labor stole our policy. And so the Greens wants to win when the labor does things good, and don't want to lose when the labor adopted the Greens policies and stumbles. But how long they can do this? Not long enough. We know now that the voters are sick from the Labour, Liberals, and the Greens, especially when the Greens, they can't hide this now. They can't hide this. They can hide what is the cause of the cost of living crisis. They can hide what is the cause of the real cause of the inflation, but they can't hide that they advocate to destroy our families. They advocate to encourage our kids to abuse the cocaine, ice, and morphine. They can't hide that they are pushing for families to be enforced to accept the gender dysphoria madness and mental health problems as the norm. So the Greens, they can't hide this policy, and we ask people to vote on this policy, to vote the Greens last uh, after the Labour, because at least Labour is very clear. This is our policy, and we are ready to accept the consequences. The Greens are pushing for this to destroy our society, to destroy our economy, to destroy our families, to destroy even to change our moral values, and to accept all these perverted ideologies. But they don't want to accept the consequences of this. In the Northern Territory, the voters talked. Of course, the Northern Territories is a test now, test about the domino effect, the collapse of the labor everywhere, and we want to make sure that the Greens will not win on the base of their lies, that they are not responsible. They are responsible for the labor destructive agendas, for the labor destructive policies. They pushed the labor, or they supported the labor to destroy our economy, to destroy our energy security, to destroy our food security, to destroy our hospitals and universities. The Greens are equally or more responsible on these policies than Labour. So what we are saying here, in the next local government election, in every council ward, we ask people, vote against Labour and the Greens, because Labour and the Greens caused the high inflation, caused the cost of living crisis, caused the attack on our family values, wanted to distribute, to sell cocaine in the pharmacies, to sell morphine and other illicit drugs to our kids, encourage, and I will talk about this in separate video, because on the last election, the last state election, I discussed with a Greens active member who was on the polling booth, trying to tell me that we want to decriminalize illicit drugs, because illicit drugs could be a treatment for some diseases. We are not talking about illicit drugs that are used in medicine, because for 100 years now, the morphine is used as an anesthetic, or as painkiller. the codeine, all these illicit drugs could be used for medicinal. We are against encouraging the culture of abusing drugs. And I told him, you, the Greens, were behind. Okay, there are some few gamblers. It was secret. Gambling was secret, was not allowed before. Let us legalize gambling so that we can stop the abuse, we can stop the criminal activities here. What had happened? The gamblers' numbers increased from a couple of thousands to tens of millions in Australia. Now, the gambling is a big trouble in Australia. They told us, okay, there is some prostitution in the country. Let us legalize the prostitution. What had happened? You see, and now they want us to legalize drugs, heavy drugs, cocaine and morphine. What will happen? It will be acceptable, socially acceptable. It will be available for everyone. So the addiction on cocaine, ice, and morphine would be doubled, tripled, or will be even in many folds increased. And then we know, go to the court system and you will see, go and sit down one day in any court in Australia and you will see most of our troubles are coming from drugs, drug abuse, whether it is legal or it's illegal. People are killing others because they are driving under influence of drugs, because of the delusion and the mental health problems because of the abuse of drugs, and so legalizing drugs, including cocaine, morphine, and ice, is killing our society. And we need to send a message that the Greens does not belong to Australia, does not belong to this contemporary history. They are, I don't know where they belong to, but who wants to come home and see that his son is abusing cocaine or morphine with the support of the Greens? In the next election, in the next local election, which will be on the 14th of September, just remember that the Greens and Labour had destroyed our family values, had destroyed our moral values, had destroyed our economy, had destroyed our energy security, our food security, and now we can't find a house to rent. If you are not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. You can leave your message, you can leave your comment or suggestion or message, or if you want to combine our efforts together, because we are trying to bring all like-minded people who are conservative when it comes to drug abuse, when it comes to abortion, when it comes to gambling, when it comes to gender dysphoria madness and others, come together so that we can fight the evil of the New World Order that is the Labour and the Greens are pushing us to. Don't forget the subscription. Thank you.